You think charging extra per guest is making you more money?
But in reality, it could be the reason you're not getting booked at all.
This one setting is quietly killing your conversion rate, and most hosts don't even realize this.
So today we're breaking down why per guest pricing is a bad idea and what to do instead if you want to stay competitive and profitable.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
All right, let's start with why hosts use this per guest pricing in the first place. The logic, I get it. More guests equal more mess. So hosts add per person fees to cover those costs. But that approach assumes that you're undercharging for your full capacity stays to begin with. So truth, if your pricing only works when you add fees per head, then your base rate is too low. So instead of solving the problem, you're just introducing friction at checkout, confusing guests, or just making them mad.
And here's the problem. Guests don't see the per guest fee. They see just the high price. Because now Airbnb's all-in pricing model bundles your per guest fee into that total nightly rate. So you might think your nightly base rate is $200, but the guest adds 4 extra guests at $25 a night. Well, it's showing $300 total. And you look wildly, wildly overpriced next to your competition. And guests don't understand that logic, nor should they. This is not what they're supposed to be doing when they're looking for their vacation. And so they're just going to scroll past you. So the result is you are losing bookings and tanking your conversion rate without realizing it. And spoiler alert, some of you might be watching this right now thinking, I don't have a per guest fee turned on. We have talked to so many hosts recently, helping them with their pricing, and we asked them, why do you have this per guest fee turned on? And they're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had that turned off.
I
set
forgot
that up
about it
forever ago. So please, after this video, check yourself before you wreck yourself on this one, okay? So don't think that you might not accidentally have this turned on, because the shock that we see in hosts' face when we uncover this for them is enlightening for sure.
This is why we're big fans of Lodgify. It helps hosts set up consistent pricing across all platforms without confusing surcharges.
Lodgify makes it easy to build a direct booking site, centralize your Airbnb, Vrbo, and your direct booking calendars, automate messaging and payments. You can grow from 1 all the way up to 50 properties using the same smooth workflows.
It's software built for real businesses, not hobby projects.
Use our code TFE20 with the link below for 20% off the annual or biannual plans.
If you sleep 12, but you only price for 8, that's a problem. Many hosts list their property as sleeps 12, and they're like braggadocious about it, right? But then they charge extra beyond 6 or 8 guests. This sends mixed messages to both the guests and the platform. If you don't want large groups, then just simply list lower occupancy. If you do want the large groups, your pricing and your cleaning fee should already reflect that, okay? Guests expect transparent pricing, and extra fees like that, it's just a penalty. It's not a fair charge. You can't have your cake and eat it too, I guess, when it comes to sharing that you sleep 12, but then get them on the back end with this like giant extra cost.
And I know what a lot of you are thinking. Well, you want to maybe incentivize or reward the folks that only have 6 or 8, but that's not how this works. For instance, like I stay at a lot of places by myself. I don't get a discount for 1 guest. Right? Think about that. We don't say, oh, well, if you're only 1 guest, if you have 2, then it's double. And so on. It keeps going, and so on, and so on, and so on. For some reason, when we get to some of those larger amounts, people think psychologically it's helping the guest, but it's not. It's like we just said, it's confusing them. It looks like you're penalizing the people that have the larger groups. And yeah, if it says you sleep 12, but then I've got to pay extra for all of them, you are getting that stay off on a rocky start. And again, we always say you want to reduce the amount of friction between looker into a booker. Let's continue this conversation. So the booking process, it should never, ever feel like a trap to the guests. Because when the guests see, they've been filtering, sleeps 12, they fall in love with your property, they go to check out, and they see these unexpected charges.
They're like, what the?
It does feel like a bait and switch, okay? And so they may still even book because you have like captured them and hooked them, but they are starting to lose a little bit of trust. And you've got to make sure that you are on your A game. You don't want any of that trust to deteriorate between the booking to the stay and during the stay. And if they didn't book with you, then your conversion rate is dropping. And whether it's your direct booking site, whether it's Airbnb or Vrbo, everybody notices that behavior, and your rankings and your bookings are going to start to suffer. But we have good news for you. We have a better strategy.
All right, so here's what you do instead. Instead of using the per guest fees, I want you to create 2 listing variations. You have the parent listing, so that's max occupancy, full cleaning fee, and you have the child listing, a smaller guest count, reduced cleaning fee, and then potentially a lower average daily rate. This lets you attract different types of travelers without confusing pricing logic. It also helps guests feel like they're getting value. No surprises. We have made a full video walking you through the parent-child strategy, so definitely make sure you're watching that next.
And don't be confused, because when I bring up this to hosts as a way to make more money and have more options, they think it's having multiple parties in the house at the same time. That is not what this is.
Oh, no.
Okay? That is not what a parent-child listing is. So please make sure you check out that video, because we have brought this strategy to so many hosts, and it has really helped to boost their revenue. And truthfully, here's the deal. Pricing shouldn't feel like a math test. Please put yourself in your guest's shoes. It is a big, big decision. They're sorting through a sea of listings. They probably have some pressure, especially
from the crew that they're booking for.
They're booking a family vacation, a work trip, all of it. That is pressure, okay? And so we don't want the guest to feel this, because they are comparing listings based on what they see first. They see the price, and then if your rate feels padded, it's unclear, if there's hidden costs, seriously, they're just gonna move on. We have to reduce the friction. Hosts who price very clearly, cleanly, and last but not least, competitively, win the booking every time, all right? So let's be kind to our future guests. Let's simplify it.
And I'm gonna get on your side for a minute, okay? And I get it. It's like, well, then why is the setting there? You know? But if we've learned anything from helping, thousands of hosts at this point, is just because the setting's there doesn't mean you have to use it.
Right.
And truly, if you don't know the why behind you using it, and even if you're kind of like wishy-washy, unless you're truly like, I understand the purpose of this, I understand the result of this, or I'm gonna test it, fine. But that just goes with any piece of software that you're using to run your business. Just because the setting is there doesn't mean you have to use it. Charging per guest feels like a win, but it's a slow leak in your strategy, in your booking funnel.
Yes. Simple from the start, price correctly from the very beginning. Avoid those surprise fees, okay? And use tech that keeps your pricing clear across all platforms.
And remember, Lodgify helps make that easy. Make sure you use code TFE20 for 20% off in the link in the description.
And let us know in the comments below, have you been using per guest pricing? All right? And if you have you decided it's time to rethink it?
With that, I am Sarah Karakayan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are Thanks for visiting.